Welcome everyone to Discover This, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a guy who is a prolific songwriter, a Grammy winner, one of the organizers of the Monterey Pop Festival, and also a desert dweller. That guy is John Phillips of the Mamas and Papas. And we're going to tell you about his life out here in the desert and show you where he's laid to rest. So let's do it. John Phillips started coming out to the desert many years before he finally moved out here. Initially going to the high desert, the Joshua Tree area. Other rockers would go to that area too. Donovan, the guy from Mellow Yellow. Graham Parsons, of course, who would bring Keith Richards along with him a couple times. And Eric Burden from the Animals and War, who fell in love with the desert so much that he moved to Palm Springs, then to Joshua Tree and other low desert cities over the years. John Phillips would stay at the Joshua Tree Inn or rent houses down in the Palm Springs area when he would come out here. Now, one thing that John Phillips liked doing is he loved riding motorcycles. And one day he was riding his motorcycle around the Palm Springs area and he almost ran into another motorcyclist. That rider stopped and flipped up his visor on his helmet, and it was none other than Elvis Presley. Now, Elvis and John had met a few times, so they kind of knew each other. But when they were both in the Palm Springs area, they would hang out a lot, either riding motorcycles or hanging out at Elvis's house. Colonel Tom Parker didn't like John Phillips or his wife. He called them hippies. At one point, Elvis heard John Phillips' solo album, which hadn't been released yet. It was going to be called John Phillips, John the Wolf King of LA. That album had both James Burton on guitar, Elvis's longtime guitarist, and Hal Blaine on drums. And Hal Blaine had also worked with Elvis on a number of projects. There was a song on there called Mississippi that Elvis loved and wanted to record, but Colonel Tom Parker vetoed that idea, not happy that Elvis would associate with what Parker kept calling the damn hippies. So in 1994, after years of renting homes for a week or two, John Phillips finally rented a home long-term, or at least for him long-term, for a year, here at 982 North Avenida Palmas in Palm Springs, behind this beautiful privacy hedge that's doing a great job. Now, he rented this house with his buddy Scott McKenzie, the guy he wrote the song San Francisco, Be Sure to Wear Flowers in Your Hair. They rented this house together in 1994. So he started spending a lot more time out here than just a week or 2 weeks, a weekend, that kind of thing. A year later in 1995, John Phillips and his fourth wife, Farnaz, bought this house in Palm Springs. And this is where he lived from 1995 until 2001 when he passed away. He still wrote songs here, and he also worked on other projects, including a solo album that was tentatively titled Slow Starter. Now, he also finished work on an album he had done, or started, back in 1991 with Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Mick Taylor, and Ron Wood, called Pay, Pack, and Follow. So he continued to stay busy. Just a view from the other side. In late February or early March 2001, John Phillips fell in his house here in Palm Springs and he hurt his shoulder. He was taken to Desert Regional Medical Center here in Palm Springs, and after a few days he was transferred to UCLA Medical Center in LA, where they found that the pain he was having was not from his shoulder but was actually attributed to a stomach virus. And that stomach virus was affecting his kidneys. Doctors were planning on putting him on dialysis and transferring him to a occupational facility back here in Palm Springs. However, he took a turn for the worse, and on March 18th, 2001 at 8:15 a.m., John Phillips died from heart failure, liver disease, and cirrhosis. From UCLA Medical Center, John's body was brought here to Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Cathedral City. Now back then, it was called the Palm Springs Mausoleum, or mortuary. And then a few years after John was brought here, Forest Lawn bought it and the name changed. Same place. His funeral service was held on March 24th, 2001 here at the Ramon Chapel on the property here at what was the Palm Springs Mausoleum or mortuary, now Forest Lawn. But this is where friends and family gathered for his funeral. After the funeral, he was taken just across the driveway there, where he was laid to rest, and we'll show you where that is. He's laid to rest down in this section here, towards the back, but right there, Papa John Phillips, California Dreamin', beloved husband, father, and friend. And his third wife, Genevieve, is laid to rest next to him. Now originally, his fourth wife, Farnaz, was supposed to be laid to rest here, and she actually gave up her space next to John Phillips, so the third wife could be laid to rest next to him. And John Phillips is laid to rest right next to Gavin MacLeod from the Love Boat, if you watched our video on that. Papa John Phillips. And on Palm Canyon, Papa John Phillips has a star on the Palm Springs Walk of Fame. Now, John Phillips wrote or co-wrote so many songs you know and love. Monday, Monday, California Dreamin', Kokomo by the Beach Boys, San Francisco, Be Sure to Wear Flowers in Your Hair, Me and My Uncle for the Grateful Dead, among many others. In 1998, the Mamas and Papas were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Phillips wrote his autobiography in 1986. So that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this video on Papa John Phillips. I appreciate you watching. Keep watching. Please subscribe. Please hit the like button. And we will see you next time on Discover This.